I called my own phone company and found money hiding in plain sight. I found a charge on my phone bill a few months back for something called device protection. $10 and change every single month on a phone I have had for 4 years. 4 years. That phone has survived being dropped on tile, sat on twice, left in a coat pocket through an entire wash cycle, and once, I am not proud of this, briefly mistaken for a coaster. If it hasn't cracked by now, it is not cracking. That phone does not need a bodyguard. That phone needs a medal, and possibly its own entry in a museum of things that have outlived expectations. So I sat down one evening with a cup of tea and actually read the bill, properly read it, line by line, instead of glancing at the total and sighing the way I normally do. And device protection was just the first thing I found sitting there, because once I started looking, I couldn't stop. There was a charge for something called a premium messaging feature that I have never once used, and as far as I can tell, didn't know existed until that moment. There was an insurance add-on, separate from the device protection, which, as far as I could work out, was insurance for the insurance. And there was a line item simply labelled service fee with no further explanation, sitting there like it had every right to be included and no intention of introducing itself. I want to be honest with you. My first instinct was to feel a bit foolish. How long had I been paying for a premium messaging feature I've never used? But I let that feeling pass fairly quickly because feeling foolish about it doesn't undo it, and calling about it might. So I called them up. Not in an angry way. I want to be very clear about that. I wasn't storming anything, and I wasn't rehearsing a speech in my head about corporate greed. I was just genuinely curious how long these charges had been quietly leaving my account without my permission or my attention. The woman on the phone was perfectly pleasant. I gave her the account and I said, "Can you go through my bill with me, line by line, and tell me what everything is?" She started with the device protection. Yes, I'd had that since I upgraded the phone 4 years ago. I asked her plainly, "Does this still make sense for a phone this old?" And there was this little pause. You know the pause, the one where you can tell someone's deciding whether to give you the honest answer or the company answer. Then she said, "Honestly, probably not. Probably not. 4 years of probably not." Then we got to the premium messaging feature, and she actually laughed a little and said most people don't realize they have that one. It gets added automatically with certain plans and just sort of sits there. "Gone," I said. She took it off while we were talking. 10 seconds, gone. Then the insurance on the insurance, which turned out to be an older add-on from a plan I wasn't even on anymore. It had simply never been removed when I switched. Gone as well. Now here's where it actually got good, because once I had her on the phone anyway, sorting through my own small museum of unnecessary charges, I asked the question I'd actually called to ask in the first place. "Do you have a lower cost plan for older customers?" And she said yes, not because I'd looked it up beforehand, not because it was advertised on the website, or in the app, or in any of the 6 texts they send me a month about bundles I don't want, because I asked out loud whether they had a lower cost plan for older customers. That's the part I really want you to hear. You may have to ask specifically, not just, "Do you have any discounts?" Ask plainly, "Do you have a lower cost plan for older customers?" She moved me to it. By the end of that one phone call, device protection gone, premium messaging gone, leftover insurance gone, and onto a plan built for someone my age instead of someone 25 and glued to their phone, my bill dropped by more than I expected. Enough that I actually said "oh" out loud, alone, in my kitchen, to nobody. Now, my sister Mare has a completely different approach to all of this, which is to not think about it at all. Mare has been on the exact same plan for 11 years, because switching feels like paperwork to her, and paperwork is Mare's natural enemy. She'd rather overpay quietly for a decade than spend 6 minutes on hold. I told her the whole thing, the device protection, the premium messaging she'd probably never heard of either, the lower cost plan, all of it. And she said, "Connie, I don't have the patience to sit on hold." I said, "Mare, I sat on hold for 6 minutes and found 3 separate charges I didn't need, plus a whole plan I didn't know existed." There was a silence, a very specific silence, the silence of a woman doing quiet math in her head that she does not want to say out loud. She still hasn't called, that's her business. But she did ask me, a few days later, sort of sideways, not quite looking at me. What was that number again? I gave it to her. Whether she's used it yet, I couldn't tell you. Mare moves at her own pace, and her own pace is generally, eventually, possibly, we'll see. Here's what I want you to actually take from this, if you take just one thing. Pick up your phone, the same old one. It doesn't matter how outdated it feels, and call your provider directly, not the app, not an email. A real person, because a real person can look at your account and actually say probably not out loud, in a way a chatbot never will. Ask for 2 things specifically. 1, can you go through my bill with me, line by line, and tell me what every single charge is? That's the question that finds the device protection, the premium feature you forgot existed, and the leftover insurance from a plan you're not even on anymore. 2, do you have a lower cost plan for older customers? Ask that question directly instead of only asking whether there are any discounts. 6 minutes. That's roughly what it cost me. 6 minutes, 3 unnecessary charges gone, and a better plan besides. And I'm still carrying the very same 4-year-old phone, cracked corner and all, without a bodyguard it never needed in the first place. If you make that call, come back and tell me what you found, because phone bills are only one place where money quietly slips away. In the next video, places money hides. After 60, I am looking at 6 more places where discounts, services, and benefits may already be waiting for you, including your library, pharmacy, insurance plan, bank, and credit cards. And it's coming up. Take care of yourself, be kind with your money, and before you pay for something you may not need, check first.